where my daughter grew up in Maryland last night. Luckily, the person shot, this is in Hagerstown outside the Valley Mall, is hopefully expected to survive. Last I heard, he had been taken to the hospital, and two suspects were detained. So it seems like it was probably like a targeted sort of they knew each other kind of thing, not a mass event, thankfully. But and just before I went live here, I got a notification on Daily Wire that a suspect was shot outside of an Alabama elementary school. Even though apparently school is over for the summer in Alabama, there were approximately 30 kids the in the school for a summer literacy program, and unfortunately, they were caught up in this. The suspect is not known whether or not the person was armed, but police officers responded within minutes. There was a school resource officer there, even though there's only 30 kids. Thankfully, they had a school resource officer on site. He called for backup, and altercation ensued, and the suspect was shot and killed. We do not know at this point whether he was actually armed, though the report on the Daily Wire said that one of the deputies was injured and is going to be okay, thankfully. But yeah, what is going on with our world right now? It's scary times, and at the same time that the world is a scarier place and more dangerous, it seems we are, our government wants to take away our ability to defend ourselves, and not only take away our ability to defend and go a little bit, on the offense with castle doctrine and everything. You have every right to defend your home, and you do not, in many states, have a duty to retreat. Though some states you do have a duty to try to retreat before you can even defend your own home. But in the state of New York, they have actually, I don't know if the bill has been passed, but they are trying to get a bill through that will also make it illegal to wear body armor for a normal individual to actually own body armor. And of course, that's because in Buffalo, New York, as well as in the Uvalde situation, the perpetrators were wearing body armor, which of course makes it more difficult for the police to then take them down. But you know what? The person who they arrested for making threats against Kavanaugh and coming from California going to Maryland, he had a kinetic weapon, a gun of some sort, I don't recall which. He also had a knife. He also had zip ties, and I believe he had some duct tape as well. So should we just outlaw all of that? Because criminals can use all of those things. They want to outlaw the gun. They want to outlaw the body armor. Why don't we go ahead and outlaw the zip ties? Let's outlaw duct tape, because they could possibly be used in the commission of a crime. No, I think actually what the proper solution to this problem is to do just what the Kavanaugh suspect did. What the Kavanaugh suspect did was he actually called 911 on himself. Okay, I'm not sure how much time elapsed between when he called 911 and when he showed up in front of Kavanaugh's residence, but he called and said, "Hey, I'm going to go and kill Kavanaugh, and this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going, and I'm going to go over there." And they had plenty of time to prepare for this Yahoo to show up, and he got out of a taxi. Actually, took a taxi. I want to know, how did he get those weapons from California on a plane, presumably, into Maryland? Maryland, by the way, has very strict gun laws, and so does California. California has strict gun laws. Maryland has strict gun laws, and yet going from one strict gun law state to another strict gun law state, a bad guy with a weapon was able to get there. The only reason why he may have been stopped was because he called 911 on himself. Now, presumably there are marshals outside of each of the justices' homes 24/7. I don't know if that's the case normally, or if that's only been since this leak of one of their possible opinions came out, and then they had, justices, several of the conservative justices had actual protesters outside their homes for quite a while. But I think that kind of died down. It's probably going to come back up again though, since Kavanaugh is in the news again, that people will come back out there again. But yeah, I think that's what the law should be. I think they should make a law that says if you're a bad guy and you're going to do harm, then you must call 911 on yourself so that the police can be prepared and can take you down before anything bad happens. Because it worked in this particular case, and so yeah, why not? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below if you think that's a better idea or worse idea than any of the other ideas that our leaders are currently coming up with. Anyhow, appreciate y'all that are there watching me. Put some comments in there below that I can interact with. I'd appreciate it. I'm in the middle of doing some more shipping, and when I go through, do these live streams and everything, I have a Facebook page, Sweet Home California there, and so throughout the day or several days between these kind of live streams, I will post different articles on there, and then I'll just kind of talk about them as well. So if you want to know more details, then the link is in the description for my my Sweet Home California Facebook group. And I did just now start up a Reddit thread as well, and that link is also in the description if you'd like to follow me over there on Reddit. But the House, talking about the two-way stuff, the House apparently has passed a red flag control bill. And what the red flag bills are is if somebody is concerned that someone has a weapon and they're currently mentally unstable, or they've made a threat or something, then they can go before an expedited hearing and basically have those weapons removed. And I know a little bit about how that process works because I have a neighbor who is within a few miles of me that had that situation happen to them. Their son and daughter-in-law lived on their property. The daughter-in-law is a little unstable, and the daughter-in-law for some reason thought that people were out to get her. She would not come out with her children, which is their grandchildren. Actually, it's her stepchildren. It's not even her children. Her stepchildren didn't want them to have contact with them, and so she would refuse to come out to bring them to the bus stop if they were outside their home. She had actually called the police several times that, hey, they're outside their home. I feel threatened. So she actually did a red flag thing against them. And so the police came, they took all of their weapons. The hearing wasn't for like 2 or 3 weeks later. So when you talk about, oh yeah, the person will have due process. Well, it took 2 to 3 weeks before they were able to get in front of a judge and tell their side of the story. And once they told their side of the story, and then also their son, was there as well. And I don't understand what he sees in this particular person. I don't understand. But in any case, the judge was like, this is ridiculous. Yes, of course you can get your weapons back. But the problem is it's not an automatic thing. They had to wait for paperwork from the court to come through. And there is money involved as well. So when you're passing these things back and forth and all, there are administrative fees that have to be attested for. Well, they're not very well off. The crazy daughter-in-law that made the charges is not that well off. And they did request that the daughter-in-law have to compensate them, for those fees. And the judge said no, she can't afford it. Well, neither can they. So anyhow, now we're going on a month or two after this court hearing, and they still haven't gotten their guns back that they legally are allowed to have and possess, and have been found now that the red flag law that was used against them was not a legitimate use of that. So in any case, all this time now they are defenseless, and we are in a very rural part of the county. We have very few police officers in this vicinity, and it can sometimes take several hours before you're going to see anybody. This is where, I told you about, we had a break-in within eyesight of my property. There were people who decided that they were going to steal a bunch of stuff out of a home that is currently vacant. They tore down a wall to get a gun safe out of that house. Nothing in the gun safe, but still, a neighbor called the police and they never showed up. By the time the people had loaded up and were on their way out, they called again, and the police dispatch said, just let us know which way they're going and we'll see if we can, catch them somewhere along the way. Haven't heard anything about that. So the police are stretched so thin. In a lot of different jurisdictions, they don't have the funds. And I'm not putting it against any individual police officer. I believe that most police officers are doing the best that they can. But it's just this political climate here that has got us really in the bottom. But anyhow, I gotta go for right now. I will set up here again in a little bit. But I got some important phone call I gotta take. So anyhow, God bless. And Katie, thank you for commenting. Bill, thank you for commenting. And I will catch you all later. Okay? God bless. Bye.